These Roblox games have billions of visits, but are some of the most hated games on the platform. Today, we're going to be looking at 5 of the most controversial games right now. Grow Garden was launched in March 2025 and exploded in popularity right away. Just after a month, it surpassed over 1 billion visits and became the fastest game to do so, and now sits at almost 11 billion visits, and in less than 100 days is already in the top 10 most visited Roblox games of all time. However, this rapid success also brought in a ton of drama and haters. Whenever any news happens with this game, the comments are flooded hating on the game and the developers behind it. When the developers post anything, even unrelated to Grow Garden, they get a bunch of hate. Tons of posts go viral hating on the game, and there's a large community out there who just hate on everything the game does. But why? Why is this game so controversial? To understand what happened, I logged into my secret account to ask the players. Firstly though, if you aren't aware, Grow Garden is a game in which, well, you grow a garden. You can get better seeds and tools, potentially mutations on your crops making them more expensive, and more. The goal is to get the best and most expensive crops.
How did you find this game?
TikTok.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Why is this game so hated?
Because you do nothing and wait for seed to restock.
This player has a good point. This game has a limit on the amount of seeds you can buy, and they can randomly restock. But if it doesn't restock, the game requires a lot of waiting around doing nothing, which can be frustrating, especially for new players. But there's a ton of other reasons this game is hated, which other players told me about.
Scammers. It's either the update sucks or
some people think it's low effort.
Despite all these reasons, a lot of people are also confused.
Do you know why this game has so many haters?
I think it's because I can Robux.
So let's investigate deeper to find the true answer. This is the original creator, BMW Lux, who made it alongside the help of Jandel. Grow Garden was destined for success, because these two developers before Grow Garden already had billions of visits. BMW Lux's game studio has over 560 million visits, and he's a part of a ton of viral games. And Jandel owns and is a part of popular games such as Field Trip Z, A Dusty Trip, Wacky Withers, and so much more. These devs clearly knew what they were doing, so they combined everything they both knew and created Grow Garden, which took over the entire world. In just a few months, not only is Grow Garden becoming the biggest game on Roblox, but it's officially the biggest game in the world, as it beat the highest concurrent record ever previously held by Fortnite. The developers are on top of the world, but with this much attention, it attracted a ton of haters and the game has become controversial. As the players mentioned, the game is hated on for a ton of reasons, but there seems to be 3 major reasons. Firstly, due to them constantly breaking player records and peaking at over 20 million players, a lot of players accuse them of botting their players, proven by the fact you can find a lot of bot servers. Anytime Grow Garden does anything, there's always a ton of comments saying the game is botted. So what's the truth? Well, the game is botted to an extent. We don't know how much of the player count is botted, but you can find and join bot servers. However, it doesn't seem to be the developers doing this like many believe. Firstly, to run that many bots would probably be super expensive and unrealistic to do. And secondly, a lot of these are run by people to sell the items. If you go on eBay, you can see people farm the items and sell them. This item here was sold over 1,000 times, meaning they made over $10,000 just from this one item. You can see why people have botting servers. But still, people believe the developers can be behind this due to the fact that private servers are free, and that we can't tell if those are botted or not since we can't see them. Ultimately, there's no clear answer, and people will forever call them out until it's proven otherwise. The second major reason people hate on this is the simplicity. Many people hate Grow Garden, saying it has no effort and lacks creativity, and saying it was made just to attract kids. And with it being so simple, many think it doesn't deserve the success, and other Roblox games should have blown up instead. Which leads into the third reason, being that people hate the game for it being a cash grab. This game has heavy monetization and some pay-to-win elements, like paying to grow all your crops, paying for a seed restock, and also a ton of cosmetics and loot boxes with seed packs. And many people hate Grow Garden for this, as they think the game is designed to exploit as much money out of people as they can. Overall, naturally with something this popular, people will hate. And even though posts go viral hating on the game, since the game is so popular, it only represents a small amount of the audience. And after interviewing players for a straight hour, most of them didn't even know the game was hated and didn't seem to care.
Are you aware of all the haters?
No.
Do you know why this game is so hated on?
No, why?
Why do people hate on this game?
I don't know.
Do you know why so many people hate this game?
No, I do not.
Do you know why this game is so hated?
It's hated?
If you thought this was crazy, we're only getting more controversial as the video goes on. Because next we're talking about Steal, Brainrot, a game that is taking over Roblox right now with over 1.3 billion visits. It was launched just over a month ago and already peaked at over 1 million concurrent players, and is the second most popular game right now, only behind Grow Garden. Once again though, this rapid success brought in a ton of haters. Every day a ton of popular posts are made hating on the game. It also has 14% dislikes. Games around this region typically have around 7%, so it's clear it's more hated than usual. Even on the official group there's a ton of hate comments. To find out why this game is so hated, let's play and see what the players have to say. The game is pretty simple. There's a conveyor where different Brainrot characters constantly run through, and it's your job to steal them. But other players can intervene and steal it from you and your base. Over time, these characters earn money, which you can use to steal and buy more characters, while also protecting your base from anyone trying to steal from you.
How'd you discover this game?
My friends.
Are you aware of all the hate surrounding it?
Yep.
Why do so many people hate on the game?
I don't know, maybe because the fact you have to spend all of the money.
So overall, it seems like the players know it's hated but don't exactly know why. I asked around some more to see if anyone had any reason.
Do you know why so many people hate the game?
Because it has Brainrot in here and it's mainly for 9-year-olds.
This player has a good point. This game is heavily catered to a younger audience, and apparently a large majority of Roblox players are teenagers or older, which could explain all the hate but success. Younger people like it and older players hate it. Let's investigate deeper to find the true answer. This is the creator, Spider Sammy, who joined Roblox back in 2021. He was quiet for the first few years and started really launching games in 2024. One of his first hits was Pixel Tower Defense, which got over 26 million visits. The developer had made it. He had a popular game, but this wouldn't last for long. For an unknown reason, the game was taken down. Later, the developer launched more games but failed to find the same success as Pixel Tower Defense, and it was looking like his time as a developer was over. But that would all change in 2025, when he launched Steal Brainrot, which took over Roblox and exploded in popularity right away. In just over a month, it became the 10th game in history to have 1 million concurrent players. But the rise to popularity has become quite controversial. Firstly, what the player said was true. A lot of players aren't fans of the Brainrot element and think the game is just low effort. With the rise of this game and Grow Garden, many are angry since they think that Roblox games are getting worse over time, and people hate the game as they feel it's low effort and just a cash grab. Speaking of Grow Garden, another reason this game is hated is because a lot of people think they just stole elements from Grow Garden. Grow Garden has a similar look, Grow Garden had a stealing feature before, and it has a similar earn offline feature similar to Grow Garden. Overall, games like Grow Garden and Steal Brainrot are super controversial, but there's two sides to it. One side of people hating it, and overall not liking simpler games as they feel it's low effort, and think Roblox is getting worse over time since creative games don't get the same love. To make it worse, games like these keep popping up, which just makes them angrier. But the other side of players don't really care. All they care about is if the game is fun, which is why these games are so popular yet have so many haters. Our next game, however, is way more controversial. Because we're talking about The Hood, which is over 2.7 billion visits, but is one of the most controversial games on Roblox. You can just tell by the like to dislike ratio how controversial this game is. But why? The game is super popular, so why is it so hated? Let's join and see what the players have to say. If you aren't aware, The Hood is a roleplay type game in a gang environment, and players can either be criminals or cops, and much more. Now, this game is very hectic, and interviewing players was impossible. This is what happened when I finally found someone to interview.
How long have you been playing this game?
Only today I started.
Then I was shot by other players, and the person I was interviewing brought me to safety.
Are you aware of all the haters?
Haters of what?
The game.
No.
It seemed like that was it, but then another player kidnapped me, so I tried interviewing them, but other players stopped us yet again. This happened constantly. I would start talking to someone and people would come and raid the entire conversation before I could ask about the game. But finally I got some answers.
How long have you been playing this game?
Yes.
This conversation wasn't working out, but that's when someone else came in, inviting us to his gang. So I started interviewing them both, which started with me being threatened.
How long have you been playing this game?
I got a gun, so don't try anything.
Me 1 year.
Me 5 years.
Are you guys aware of all the haters?
Yeah.
Why is this game so hated?
Because Slender, main game.
What do you mean?
This is where all the Slender go, to be toxic and rude to noobs.
So it seems like the community for this game is toxic, which is why it's so hated. Let's investigate to see if this is the true answer. This is the owner, Benoxa, who joined Roblox all the way back in 2010. They were part of a ton of projects and in 2019 launched The Hood, which would blow up. Due to how unique it was at the time and all the action, it quickly started gaining millions of visits and getting thousands of players. By the end of the year, it would gain over 200 million visits, and over time, it now sits at over 2.7 billion visits. But there's a huge problem. The Hood wasn't able to maintain this level of success over the years, and every year it started losing more and more players, going from averaging around 20,000 players to now around 5,000. What went wrong? Well, what the player said was true. The community for this game is super toxic, and they're also known to bypass a lot with crazy audios. Most people deem this one of the most toxic Roblox games they ever played, and a lot of these comments were made early on when the game was starting to blow up, so it seems to just keep getting worse every year, leading to it becoming a super hated and controversial game. Most players hate it, but there's a small audience of people who actually enjoy the chaos. This game is super hated, but we're only getting more controversial as the video goes on. Up next is Souls RNG, which is over 1.2 billion visits. This game took over Roblox when it launched, but even at launch, it was super controversial, with many hating the game and the concept. Why did people start hating right away? Let's play and see if the players know. This game is very simple. The main concept is you click to roll and try to get better auras. That's it.
How long have you been playing Souls RNG?
A few days.
Why do so many people hate this game?
It's because they get nothing. Also grinding.
So it seems like due to the RNG concept of this game, some people hate it. This game is entirely luck based and requires a lot of grinding like the person said if you want rare stuff. The other players I spoke to confirmed this.
Are you aware of all the haters?
Yeah.
How come?
Some of my friends hate it because they don't like RNG.
Once again, another player said the RNG concept of the game is why it's hated. If you aren't aware, RNG stands for Random Number Generator, which is essentially what this game is, but instead, the numbers represent the different auras you collect. Let's investigate deeper to see if this is the truth. This is the owner, 54XYZ, who joined Roblox back in 2017, and prior to Souls RNG, they didn't really have a popular Roblox game. It also seems to go for everyone else involved in the project. So when they launched Souls RNG in 2023, they didn't know this would change their lives forever. This game took over Roblox, after some time constantly getting over 100,000 players, and getting millions of visits. These developers were on top of the world, but ever since this game started getting attention, it attracted a large audience of haters, and there seems to be two major reasons as to why. The first reason is what the player said. A lot of people hate the concept of this game. In fact, many people don't even consider it a game, since all you really do is sit there and click a button, or in most cases people just AFK and stand there. Due to the game becoming so popular, it became so controversial due to its lack of gameplay, and many just don't understand why it's popular and why so many people play it. And because of the concept, a lot of people can't stand playing the game for that long. But another reason this game is controversial is that people think it's encouraging gambling to kids. Now, it technically isn't gambling since you aren't spending money, but many feel as if the game is like an endless slot machine. People just there for hours rolling and rolling hoping to get better and rarer auras, which many think is exposing kids to the concept of gambling, and many think the game is exploiting players. So overall, the concept of this game is the main reason for the controversy. Some people don't think it's that big of a deal and love it, but a lot of people think it's really bad and hate it, and also think it's dangerous for kids. But our next game is even more controversial right now, because it's Forsaken, a game that is going viral right now and has amassed over 1 billion visits, but there always seems to be constant drama surrounding the game and its community. To find out why, I joined to ask the players. The main concept of this game is one player is a killer, and the rest of the players have to try and survive by setting up all the generators. This game is very hectic, and no matter how hard I tried, for some reason, literally no one wanted to talk to me. Instead, I went around to Forsaken fan games to see what true Forsaken fans had to say.
Are you aware of all the hate surrounding Forsaken?
Yeah, sorta.
What's going on?
I don't know, all I know is that some people hate it. And maybe about the retro slop.
Retro slop.
Well, I don't know what retro slop is.
So it seems like players are aware of the game being hated, but they don't quite know why. But apparently, it's something to do with retro slop. Let's investigate to find the answer. Now, the history for this game is very weird. The original creators were Soul Driven Love and Deer Pilled, and this is where the controversy starts, because Soul Driven Love got called out and exposed for allegedly doing a bunch of horrible things, which caused them to leave the game and transfer ownership over to Basil and Haitoko. But then, out of nowhere, Soul sold the game to another new owner. So for this period of time, it was really confusing what was going on and who was going to own it. But finally, it seems like Haitoko and Basil are controlling it. Already, the developers had a bunch of controversy, but there's even more when it comes to the game itself. A lot of the hate seems to stem from the community, with many calling it very toxic. A lot of people actually like the game, but say they hate the community. And since there's so much drama and controversy within the community, it creates a ton of haters for the game. It seems like the community brings down the reputation of the game. Another point of drama is this whole retro slop thing like the player mentioned. If you aren't aware of what this means, it's basically when players cosplay to look like an old and OG player, but ruin it by not doing it properly or using the wrong items. And this is tied in with Forsaken since many Forsaken players have been doing it, due to Forsaken having older Roblox characters, as well as Forsaken players constantly calling out people for having retro slop. In general, it's a very weird problem that's been going viral, and only adds to the controversy of Forsaken and its community, making more people hate the game and community. Overall, many Roblox games are hated, all for different reasons, but despite all the hate, no matter what, there's still a community out there that enjoys the game and will continue supporting it. If you enjoyed, please subscribe and like. To watch me explore more, you can click the playlist on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one.